Well, welcome to Checks and Balances in the Constitution. Hopefully have some fun today. It's interesting, historically, the Constitution had quite an interesting historical background. The founders had just come from a very, very strong centralized government, hadn't they? Britain was a very strong and very powerful centralized government. And so they said, what we need to do is we need to decentralize and not have a strong central government. So what we brought in after winning the War for Independence was the Articles of Confederation. The challenge of the Articles of Confederation, though, is that it offered too weak of a central government. And so they found themselves with a dilemma, swinging the pendulum from here to there, strong government or not a strong central government. And what they came up with as a solution was the Constitution, which gave more power to the central government than the Articles of Confederation had given, but it checked and balanced that power so that the central government couldn't grow bigger and stronger because of those checks and balances. We're going to explore those today. Okay? So we're going to hit some definitions. We always start out with some definitions to get a baseline for where we're at. The first definition I want to hit is sovereignty. Sovereignty is kind of a big word, but it's a really simple concept. It's the idea, it's the highest level of decision-making authority. It's a state of supreme rule, also self-rule. One way I like to say the sovereignty is the buck stops here, right? I am sovereign. I make decisions for myself. We all know there's one ultimate sovereign in the world. That's God. But sovereignty is the idea of self-rule. You're in charge of yourself, okay? That's what sovereign means. Secondly, we're going to discuss this word jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is also a big word, but it's very simple. The extent or range of power or authority. Okay, so you have a sheriff who's in this county who pulls someone over. Can they do that? Yeah, because it's in their jurisdiction. But can a sheriff from another county pull me over? No, it's not in their jurisdiction. It's not the range of their authority, okay? Thirdly, a state. A state's interesting because you look at the 1828 Webster's Dictionary and it calls a state an independent country, a geographic and people-separated area distinct from other nations or lands. We tend to think of a state as kind of a subordinate unit to a nation, right? That's what we're states and we're subordinate to the national government. And you look at it, what he says, and what the Founding Fathers understood the word state to mean is an independent country. Kind of interesting. Now, another definition is federal. Okay, federal is derived, this is according to 1828 Webster's Dictionary as well, it's derived from an agreement or covenant between parties, particularly between nations. So we have a federal government, which is essentially a unifying of sovereign nations that come together under a federal government and form the United States of America. But you notice in the Declaration of Independence, it's kind of interesting. United is a small little word, and then states is this huge word, because it's all about the states. Be unified for certain reasons, but these United States, right? And federalism, that's an interesting concept and a take on this word federal. Federalism is based on the idea of different levels of government. Okay, we know there's local government and there's county, there's state, and then there's federal government. Those are different levels. That's what federalism is, at different levels of government. And it's really based on this concept, the governing at the lowest appropriate level. Never, ever give it to a higher level of government that which you can do yourself at a lower level. Don't move it up the chain. Keep it as local as possible. That's the principle of federalism. The principle of federalism is found all through the Constitution, and it's critical. It's critical because what is it doing? It's decentralizing government, and that's the essence of the freedom. Less government, more freedom. Okay?